everybody, and welcome to That Wrestling Show, the podcast where all pro wrestling matters. I am your host, the one and only, the OG of wrestling, Mr. Bill, along with Fro. How you doing, Fro?
You are the one and only.
Yeah, I wish. We got a good show for you this week. Our feature
Yeah.
that we're going to be talking about, Fro and I, we have a list that we have made. We're going to talk about our 5 favorite heels. We made a list of the top 5 heels of all time in wrestling. We're going to discuss that. Plus, we're going to get into wrestling news, and we're going to talk about the Masked Singer. And Fro, I'm going to say it right now, the wrong person went out this week.
Yup. Totally agree. Totally agree.
Now, normally, unless we have something important that we have to talk about, we just hop right into the news. But Ro sent a link to me the other day, and we're going to talk about this. And I'm going to let Ro start us off with leading it off for this week.
Yeah, because this is from MNSN.com. Hulk Hogan. And you know who that is, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jesus, not the corona vaccine, is what we need. Okay. Pro wrestler Hulk Hogan suggested the Lord will end coronavirus if mankind repents. In 3 short months, just like he did with the plagues in Egypt, God has taken away everything we worship, Hogan wrote into his 1.5 million Instagram followers. The 60-year-old Hulker born Terry Jean Blua believed that the people of Earth should use the pandemic lockdown to grapple with their fate, then succumb to holy headlock. To make this happen, according to Hogan, the almighty body slammed instruction, including that of Jones. God said, "We want to worship athletes. I will shut down the stadiums. You want to worship magicians? We will shut down musicians. I will shut down civic centers," Hogan wrote Monday. "I want to worship actors. I will shut down the theaters. I want to worship money. I will shut down the economy and collapse the stock market." He also implied that God shut down churches to punish people who aren't using them. What?
Okay, that one doesn't make sense.
No sense at all. You don't want to go to church and worship me? I will make it where you can't go to church, according to Hulk Hogan. In a video posted to GodTV.com, Hawkins said he was saved by God when he was 14. Yeah. And maybe we don't need a vaccine, Hogan wrote. Maybe we need to take this time of isolation from distractions of the world and have a personal reveal that focus only things that the world really matters. Jesus.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start off. I will always be a fan of Hulk Hogan, the wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who I grew up on. I don't know if Hogan is trying to be John the Baptist here, or Moses.
Or whoever, yeah.
I mean, I've actually seen this. The thing that this article is talking about. This article, by the way, is a few weeks old, but I'm glad we're bringing this up because the last few weeks we've been very busy with just about everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously this is Hogan's opinion, and in a way, this is a time where and this is just my opinion.
Hmm.
With everything going on, we really should, as a society, reflect on what is important to us in life. I really do.
And do you know what? I totally agree to that. I think that's one of the things that I have used this time is like find out what is important for me.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want out of life when this whole Corona shit is over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, comparing this to the plagues of Egypt,
Right. Yeah.
obviously, if you go back to the days of the Ten Commandments, it was frogs, it was hail. Um, there's so much stuff. I know there was three. I can't think of the third one. Um, I
The
don't.
kill of the firstborn, wasn't that
Yeah,
one of the plagues?
the
Yeah.
firstborn son. Um, I don't think we're in that kind of that kind of pandemic. But it really is very interesting for Hogan to be like, well, brother, God said, you want to worship the athletes, dude, I'm going to shut down the stadiums. If you want to
Right.
um, but at the same time, and I want everyone to think about this, because of this, a lot of small businesses could end up being closed permanently.
Hmm.
It could be to the point where they may never run again.
Yeah, and that's very sad. And I said before, I understand the protesters going out protesting the lockdown, but it's
Yeah.
not helping. It's making things worse.
Thank
Like
you. It really is.
yeah, I understand the sentiment of it, but it's like the way you're doing it is just like wrong.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're a bunch of morons who, and then some of them were blocking the nurses and the doctors that are helping us. This is sort of going into what Hulk Hogan was talking about, if you think about it.
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, I wish, first off, I wish these people that are protesting would have the freaking patience that a lot of us do.
Mm.
And I'm sure, on TV, some of the people are like, oh, well, they're Republican voters or they're Democrat voters. I don't really give a crap. I don't really give two shits.
No.
It doesn't matter what party they're aligned with. They want to, protest to try to get this reopened. This is not slavery like I've seen. This is not communism like I've seen. The whole freaking world is doing it. We're the only ones who are being a bunch of morons here that are protesting to open it when everybody else in the world is sitting back doing what they're supposed to be doing. And a lot of Americans are doing the same thing. They're sitting back, but you have that small group. You have that group of morons and idiots who think it's smart enough to go outside and protest something that is not an American thing. It is a worldwide thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Hogan here, you know what? I'm gonna say this. In a way, he's sort of right on this.
In a way, like I said, I understand his thinking of it, and I can understand where he comes from, but it's like the way you present it is wrong.
Too much.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, and I've said this to Fro privately and publicly, and I'll say it again anyway. I don't care if you believe in God. I don't care if you worship God. If you don't believe in a God, I'm okay with that. I can accept that. I believe in a God, and I believe in Jesus. I try my best to, live a good life to when, the day comes that I leave this earth when I die and I end up at the big wrestling arena in the sky, I can get a ticket,
Mm.
But Hogan is right, but I think he's a little too into it.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far that he's right, but it's like because I don't think it's punishment,
No, no,
and
no, no, no.
that's where I find it interesting that he says that everything like this Corona thing was punishment. I mean, years ago when we had the big AIDS and HIV crisis in the States.
Well, I was a baby when that happened.
Right. The preachers on TV was like, "Oh, this is a commandment for God for gay people." It's like it doesn't work like that. Viruses doesn't come from a bad judgment upon people. It comes from fucking virus. It comes from humans.
And that's another thing. And I'm glad you bring up, the pastors, the televangelists. That's what the ones on TV. I hate them so much. I really do.
Copland, for example.
My dad and I hate Joel Osteen so freaking much because
he's awful.
He's a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, and all those people. I know this is sounding political. We're gonna get off of politics. Well, there'll be a story later where we're gonna get back into politics. But I just want to say this real quick. It's people like Osteen, all those people, that push me away from wanting to go to church. I have a neighbor who lives a few houses down from where I live. He is a retired bishop. Fantastic man. Fantastic human being. That never shoves down your throats about, the Bible and the Word of God and all of that. He's a regular human being like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
When he takes off his, quote unquote uniform, he's a normal human being. He watches movies. He's got a wife. He's got kids. He's got grandkids. He's a normal person. That's the kind of person, that if I want to listen to them, and if I'm having to choose between, who I'm going to listen to for the end of the world, I'm probably going to go to the guy that I've known for 30 plus years instead of these multi-billion-dollar priests who say, "Oh, well, if you give me $3 million, God will let you into heaven."
Right.
So,
yeah, no, that's the problem.
It is. It is. Hate to say it, but it is. But Hogan, he brought up some good points, but we're not really in a time where God has punished us all yet.
Nope.
Really hasn't. All right, we'll get back into politics later on because there's a story that I want to bring up later that is beyond belief. And I'm surprised no one has really talked about it. But let's talk about some other news. AEW this week won in the ratings after a 2-week losing streak. They beat NXT not only in audience, but in that key demographic of 18 to 49. AEW had 731,000, NXT 665,000. But again, in the 18 to 49 range, AEW tops. They had a .25, where to NXT had a .18. So it was only a few weeks, but AEW back on top.
What did you think about this episode?
I thought both shows were good this week, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know which one would have been the better of the two. I think if you're looking for match quality, I think NXT might have had the better all-around episode because they had the 3 cruiserweight tournament matches, and those were looking good. But I think if you're looking for advancement in characters, I think AEW might have had the better week, especially, because this week they focused on Scorpio Sky, and I'm like, okay, here we go. Scorpio Sky's, he could be something.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of good, I thought, with both this week.
I agree. I think it was very good to see both of them on their toes. It felt like it was competition again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that comes from just like pure what can I call it? Willingness to do something,
right?
Or it comes from a more like how do I say that? A more that they are more interested in doing something incredibly difficult to do. But I think it's maybe it's the same.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I could see your point. Let's talk about Impact real quick, because as we had mentioned at the end of last week's show, it was supposed to have been this past Sunday, Rebellion. Well, Impact went the WrestleMania route to a degree, and they decided, well, Rebellion is too big for one night. Or, as I said, Rebellion is too big for 1 week.
Yep.
So they had week 1 of Rebellion. I didn't watch all of it. I did watch the main event, though. I thought the main event...
I watched all of it. I thought it was very, very good.
I thought the main event was done well.
Yeah.
So, we're going to go into the results real quick. Rhino, Tommy Dreamer, and Crazy Steve returning to Impact.
Yeah. Very nice to see him back.
They defeated members of OVE in the Christ Brothers and Madman Fulton. We had a 3-way tag team match. The Rascals, Dez, and Wentz defeated Triple XL of Larry D and Ace Romero, and the team of TJP and Falaba. Then we had a title change. Willie Mack defeated Ace Austin to win the X Division title. I like Willie Mack. I think he's a great wrestler. I think he's going to do wonders with the X Division title. I really do.
Amazing match, by the way.
I'll have to watch
it. Yeah, one of the best matches of the card.
Kylie Ray defeated Kiera Hogan. And in the main event, Ken Shamrock defeated Sami Callihan in an unsanctioned match. It started in the ring, but then went into the back, and then it ended in the parking lot where it was raining.
Did you see this match?
I did. This is the one I watched.
Okay. Did you like it?
There were bits where I did like it and other parts where I didn't.
Okay.
I liked the ending. I liked that.
The ending was very good. I think it's very slow. I think it was very slow.
Hmm.
And I think one of the problems that this had was the same I had with the let's show everybody around
Right.
uh,
The performance center.
performance match, and it kind of reminded me of that, and I didn't really understand why they were trying to copy something shit like that. So I don't know.
But I liked the ending because Callahan is the kind of guy who's not gonna give up. You
I
have
agree.
to
Yeah,
literally, you'd have to kill the guy to beat him. He's not gonna
oh,
tap
definitely.
out, and Shamrock got that ankle lock on, and he just passed out from the pain. That's all he did.
Right.
So,
But I find it very interesting that it seemed, at least for me, that they were trying to copy a lot of things from WWE, and I don't like it when they do that. I
right.
find it irritating.
But here's the thing: Impact was the originator of the movie style wrestling match.
Right,
But the thing with this is it didn't start out as that. It started
right.
in the ring. Once they went to the commercial and they showed him in the locker room, that's when the whole movie thing began.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
But yeah, no. I would give this whole pay-per-view B minus.
all right. Like I said, I only saw the main event. That was
Right.
that was probably the only one I would have wanted to see. Next week, for those that are interested, we're gonna have a four-way match: suicide, homicide, genocide, and deathicide. No, I'm just kidding. It is Suicide, the wrestler. Chris Bay, Trey from Rascals, and Rohit Raju, plus Joseph Ryan, not Joey Ryan, Joseph Ryan against Cousin
Right.
Jake. Rosemary will take on Havoc in Full Metal Mayhem. And maybe you could shed a little light on this one, Fro. The future of the world title is revealed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that will be very interesting to see what that means.
Wonder if Tessa could not make it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's that or if she's fired.
I would have seen something if she was fired. I really would.
Uh, maybe.
All right. Let's get off of wrestling for a moment and talk about the Masked Singer this week. This
The most controversial
oh,
episode ever.
man, I was upset. I was upset. As my Xbox turns
Yeah.
on. My Xbox turns
Frogs. Frog sang Fireball by Pitbull, and Kitty sang True Colors by Cyndi Lauper. Why the fuck did Kitty go into the
on.
risk here?
Exactly.
Absolutely no freaking reason whatsoever. It should have been Frog.
Oh my god, yeah.
Then we have Banana knocking on Heaven's door.
That was my favorite performance maybe of the whole season.
This is so weird because Rhino sang 10,000 hours, and that wasn't good. So I was okay. It's going to be Frog against Rhino. No, it was Banana. What?
That was wrong. That was neither one of
Wrong.
them.
So I just didn't understand this. So in the SmackDown, it was Kitty with Unstoppable by Sia. Extremely good. And Banana sang Brick House by the Commodores. I think he chose the wrong song in the SmackDown.
I don't know. I thought he did okay.
Mm.
It's just Kitty is so good
Yeah.
You know, but really, neither one of these two should have been there.
Nope. And who was Banana?
Well, the banana was the one that got eliminated, and it was pretty easy if you're pretty good with your ears. It is Bret Michaels, the lead singer of Poison.
Yeah, to absolutely nobody's surprise.
Yep, not even Sharon. Sharon's like, "Oh, it's Bret. I know it's Bret. I saw him do that spanking that one time."
Mm-hmm.
And then Ken Jeong
Yep,
had a really good Sharon impersonation. That was really good.
that was very funny.
All
Yeah.
right, so now we're down to the final six. It is Turtle, Frog, Kitty, Astronaut, Night Angel, and Rhino. Fro, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think will win it, and who's your dark horse to win it?
I think Kitty will win it.
Who?
Kitty.
Kitty will win. Okay, who's your dark horse?
Yeah. I don't know. I will go with Astronaut.
I'm agreeing with you on who I think is going to win it. I think Kitty is going to win this.
I mean, there's been two men that have won.
Exactly, that's the thought. That's
Right.
the thought. I think the dark horse in this, for sympathetic reasons, is Rhino.
Could be, yeah.
Because he is sort of in the same spot where the monster was from the first season.
Yeah.
Even though at the end of the day the monster did deserve to win it. So it's gonna be very interesting how this goes. So the next episode is this coming Wednesday. The season finale is May 27th.
Yeah, we're not far away.
No, we are not.
But here's my question, though.
Okay.
Do you think they will right away record another season and make it digital, or will they wait?
I think they're going to wait.
Yeah?
I really do.
Yeah, I kind of have the same feeling because Britain's Got Talent started 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that was recorded, of course, in January.
Right.
And everything is cancelled of the live shows there. The Voice is kind of weird because they are in the middle of a season right now in America.
Same with American Idol.
Yeah, I meant American Idol. Sorry.
Oh no,
not The Voice.
I thought you were saying that The Voice was as well.
No,
Okay.
I meant American Idol. Yeah, and I don't know what they will do with shows like this, because this show doesn't really need an audience.
Well, let me tell you who the celebrity judges are going to be in future episodes.
Please do.
They include Chef Gordon Ramsay.
Okay, that's cool.
That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I want him on there, so that would be funny.
Comedian Jeff Dye.
Who?
I've never heard of him. And comedian Jay Farrow.
Who?
Oh, dude, Jay Farrow is hilarious. He was on Saturday Night Live for years. He did so many great impersonations. He did a very good Barack Obama.
Saturday Live.
Check him out. He's worth
Okay.
watching. He's very good. All right, let's get back into some wrestling news, some fun wrestling news. Ring of Honor made this announcement yesterday, and if any of you Ring of Honor fans are interested, you might want to take part in this, because this coming Thursday night, April the 30th, they will be having a first ever Ring of Honor Trivia Night on Zoom. That is April 30th at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Participants will play the trivia game alongside Ring of Honor stars such as Matt Taven, Joe Hendry, Session Moth Martina, Quinn McKay, the Beer City Bruiser, Amy Rose, and Dak Draper. It will be hosted by Ring of Honor commentator Ian Riccaboni. If you would like to play, you can email at, this is the address, rohtrivia@gmail.com with your team name and the names of the players on your team. Teams should have anywhere from 3 to 10 players. The deadline to enter is this Wednesday, April 29th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Team captains will receive an email that day with a link to the game and instructions for the rest of their team. All players must be 18 years or older.
Would you do good?
Oh, I'd probably win. To be honest.
Really?
I think I'm that knowledgeable in Ring of Honor, but I'm not going to do it just because I don't want to embarrass everyone. So, you know.
Come on.
No, I don't want
I would love to see you on there.
I don't want to hurt their feelings. And then if after I win, I'd be like, "Give me a job. I won the contest. Give me a job."
I am the one and only.
I am the OG of Ring of Honor trivia. You can't deny me.
I would be extremely shit.
That's probably why they're doing team competition.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at normal trivia, but yeah, no, I would be extremely bad at that kind of trivia.
Say, Fro,
That's me.
did you know that WWE this week is celebrating 25 years of Triple H?
Mm-hmm. I did know that.
And it's going to start tonight on SmackDown.
Because.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Because.
It's going to go on into Raw on Monday night.
This is so weird.
Why are we doing this?
No clue.
We never did a 25th anniversary of Hulk Hogan.
Well.
We never did a 25th anniversary of Andre the Giant.
Well.
We did a 25th anniversary of The Undertaker, but it was done well. So Undertaker gets a pass.
But yeah, no, it's going to be shit.
Why? Just why?
Absolutely no clue.
Now, something we did not talk about, because we recorded this before this was announced. Fro, I'm going to say this. I'm actually looking forward to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Now it's looking good, yeah.
In particular, folks, the Money in the Bank ladder match is going to be the most unique match, or I should say matches, we will ever see in our lives.
Oh, definitely.
Because it is being changed from a regular Money in the Bank ladder match to Money in the Bank, the obstacle course.
I love this. I really, really, really smiled when they were announcing this.
Oh, I did too. So,
it was so good.
So
and it looks like it is going to be super interesting because it's a little like mix of wrestling and what is that reality show called where they always jog around obstacles courses?
Wipeout?
Wipeout, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of like Double Dare from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
That's what they should do. Here's my plan, okay? And I doubt WWE's going to do this, but I'm just going to book it anyway. Let's bring the original host of Double Dare, Mark Summers, to be the host of Money in the Bank.
Oh, that would be so good.
And then
they would never do that.
No, I know they won't.
It would be so funny.
And then we'll have our PA announcer be Harvey, for those that remember from back in the day. He's still alive, by the way, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And then you can have Vanna White involved, and then you can have some of the older models from The Price is Right when Bob Barker was around.
Oh, that would be so fucking hilarious.
All right. So here's what the match is going to be. Because we have to describe this match to everyone. For those that haven't heard. This match is taking place at Titan Towers.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually,
how fun is that?
This is actually a creative idea.
I love this.
So, the 6 competitors will start on the main floor of WWE. Probably once, they get identified and the security guard lets them in, they gotta do that. Then they have to go from the ground floor all the way to the roof of WWE headquarters. On the roof is a ring. Above the ring is the Money in the Bank briefcase. You have to climb the ladder in the ring from the top of the roof of Titan Towers to retrieve the Money in the Bank contract.
I love that.
I want slides. I want slime.
Yeah.
I want those little balls that you play with when you're in a pit.
Oh.
I want music. I want everything.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh my god. And the only reason, more than likely, that this is happening is because of the pandemic we're in.
I mean, they are at least doing something that is interesting.
It's creative.
So I give them kudos.
It's creative.
Yeah.
Plus, they do have that new building that they were working on just prior to this whole thing. So I would not be surprised if this is WWE's way of being, well, you know what, since we're leaving this place, why don't we just destroy the shit out of it?
What if that would be the end of it? Like the building falls down. That would be so funny.
Oh. Innocent people.
But does this change who wins?
I don't think so.
No.
I really don't. I mean, I'm sure that this has probably been taped, but I don't think it's going to change whoever wins. I mean, they still, both the men and the women have 2 spots left open.
Mm-hmm.
We're not sure who the other 2 in each match are going to be, but that's going to be determined in the next several weeks. So. Yeah.
I mean, it's a long time to that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It feels like.
About 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks now, yeah.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to it.
It's not this weekend, but next, isn't it?
No, it's
the weekend after that again.
It's the weekend after.
Yeah, so it's 3 weeks.
Right. But no, I'm actually looking forward to this. I really am.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be entertaining.
It will be fun.
It will. Okay, so we're going to stay with WWE because there's some stuff that I want to bring up. And I'm going to start with this because Dave Meltzer was actually able to get a schedule of when WWE will be recording Raw, SmackDown, and NXT up to July. So, SmackDown is live tonight, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, SmackDown will be taping for May 1st and May 8th. So they're going to tape their go-home show tomorrow. Monday, Raw will be recorded for that night, the 27th, and for May the 4th, their go-home show. On the 29th, NXT will be recorded for that night, plus the May 6th episode.
Mm.
On the 11th of May, which is the day after Money in the Bank, Raw will be recorded for that night, and SmackDown will be recorded for May 15th. On the 12th, they're going to do another day of Raw and SmackDown. And then on the 13th, NXT is going to do 2 tapings.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to get some time off. And then May 25th, 26th, and 27th will be recordings for Raw, SmackDown, and NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Then they get a couple days off. And then they have 2 days, June 8th and 9th. And then they'll get another few days off, June 15th, 16th, and 17th. And they'll get a few more days off. And then June 29th, 30th, and July 1st. That is, as of right now, all their taping days.
Yeah.
So, those shows are going to be in the can, baby. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. No, it's going to be super, super interesting to see.
Yeah.
Really.
I think a lot of that's going to be edited.
How much?
The botches and...
Yeah, but how much?
I don't know.
80%.
More than likely.
Yeah.
Alright, so yesterday, WWE had their first quarter numbers released. And we're not going to really talk about them today because it's not really worth it, I feel.
It's not it's not interesting at all. Spoiler alert, they lost a lot of money.
Actually, real quick, they officially announced yesterday, WWE and the people that make WWE 2K, they've announced that there is no new video game coming out this year.
I am so happy to see that.
So, two things I want to bring up.
Okay.
And we're probably going to go on a rant on each of these, you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing each other. During yesterday's meeting, someone brought up why the Raw ratings have not been doing so well. Vince McMahon blamed the slumping ratings because their ratings have not been good lately.
Of course he did.
Blamed the ratings on the need to get new superstars over. This is a process that takes time, and the lack of Brock Lesnar was also mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Here is his
Yeah, because that's what I needed. More Brock Lesnar.
Here's the exact quote. It's suffered because we bring in a lot of new talent into Raw, and it takes a lot to get new talent over. We don't have Brock Lesnar any longer, and it takes a lot of time to get that new talent over.
Mm-hmm.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the one that's being able to push this new talent again? I believe it's Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he should blame himself.
Because Vince McMahon, for some reason, has his head so far up his ass that he thinks in 2020 that people like Brock Lesnar and Edge and The Undertaker and Goldberg and all these people can still bring in ratings. This is why the WWE is in the shape they're in. Because Vince McMahon is not doing what he was so good at for so long, pushing young talent. I mean, I watch Raw every week, Fro. Every week. No matter how good or how bad it is. Lately, they've been pushing some young talent. Or they put a lot of young talent on that I feel deserve a push. Aleister Black is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is going to be huge. I really feel that way. Lately, they focused on Zelina Vega and her men that she manages, and I actually like it because Andrade, we both like Andrade, we really do. He's so good. He's going to be world champion someday. I still feel that. Angel Garza has been a blessing in disguise.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, he has just become so good. Austin Theory, he's very young. He's only 22, 23 years old. Let's give him time. Let's give him time. You know, once he's comfortable, once the feet are wet in the pool, he could be good. Now, I'm going to say something about Zelina Vega. I'm not sure how many of our wrestling purists that listen to this are going to cry out blasphemy for what I'm about to say. But I really believe this is true. And I'm going to explain myself here. Zelina Vega, who's actually one of my favorite people to watch in wrestling because she's so entertaining. She is the female equivalent to Bobby Heenan. And let me explain what I mean by that before anyone gets pitchforks and torches and tries to kill me. Let me explain myself. And when I say it, Fro, I think you're going to get the idea of why I'm making the comparison.
I agree.
Zelina Vega, when she manages like a wrestler. But when she wrestles like a manager. And that's what Bobby Heenan used to do. That's why I made that comparison. Because when you watch Bobby Heenan footage, he manages like a wrestler. And when he wrestles like a manager. He wrestles like a chicken shit. That's what Zelina is doing. And she's so good. Plus, her on commentary has been one of the highlights of Raw for me these last several weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so entertaining.
Yeah.
So, I've enjoyed that. The tag team division, they put a new team together. Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. Those are two very talented guys that, for the last few months, have been misused. Putting them together in a tag team, I think, may help the both of them.
I agree.
Because right now, Vince McMahon is not going to use either one of them as a singles competitor, which is a shame because both of them are very good. Why not use them as a tag team? Why not? And then you've got Drew as the WWE champion, and he looks like the world champion. He really does. He looks phenomenal. The women's division has its bright spots. I think Asuka has been the star of the women's division these last several months. I mean,
definitely.
She's been fantastic. If you're going to blame the new talent, that is ridiculous. That is a bunch of bullshit. It's Vince that should be getting the blame because he keeps relying on the old talent, you know, the ones that have retired or have a very limited schedule. That's where the ratings are. You have to develop the new stars. Look, it took a long time in the mid-90s for WWF to get back on their feet. Part of it was because they had to change, you know, what they were presenting, but they had the young talent right there.
Yeah.
At the time, I think, may have known, at least he had the talent. He didn't know about the product. Here, he's got the talent, but he doesn't know the product.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's wrong.
You are 110% correct, and that is the problem. You hit it the nail on the head.
All right.
And it irritates me because I think, like I said, and it's very sad to say, the day Vince dies, we will see a better WWE. I am 110% convinced of that.
And like I said a long time ago, we'll be talking about that on episode 666 when Vince McMahon has died. That will be the week he dies, is when we record episode 666.
What episode are we on now?
Hold on, I can tell you. We're on. Where is my file? There we go. This week is episode 438.
Okay.
So we got a bit of a ways to go.
Okay.
Now.
I think he will die before that, probably, but.
All right, now this other story. Fro, I could not believe this when I read it.
Okay.
But this is what they mentioned in their first quarter investors call yesterday.
Okay.
This is good. I almost went apeshit. During the first quarter, or during the WWE first quarter investors call, a spray was mentioned that they are using at the Performance Center. Vince McMahon brought the spray up as he was discussing the measures they are taking to protect all WWE staff from COVID-19. He said, quote, "When we're here, we're performing in small groups in terms of waves. Where the arena is concerned, we change the turnbuckles and the ropes between matches. We kind of have a pandemic cleaning, I guess you could say, on a very frequent basis. The Clorox 360 stuff, we have something additional as well." Triple H explained during this call that the company buys a spray from, and I want everyone to remember this, Allied Bioscience. They sell a spray that clings to surfaces. Once it is on the surface, it stays there for 90 to 120 days and kills COVID-19 along with other viruses. Triple H said it acts like a sword and punctures the cell wall of the virus. He goes on to say there's a process which makes it cling to surfaces, and that surface, once it's coated with this, it lasts for 90 to 120 days, and it acts like a sword that punctures the cell wall of what causes the virus, and it lasts for 90 to 120 days, and it lasts even through the other cleaning and various levels of everything we're doing it. WWE is using the spray on the Performance Center, warehouses, and production trucks.
Cool.
Bro?
Yes?
Where the fuck are these bottles? Why do we all not have this?
It's the one that Trump uses to clean his insides with. Did you hear about this?
Why is this not on the market?
This is so funny.
This is ridiculous.
Yep.
You mean to tell me? No, I'm pissed off about this. You mean to tell me that of all the companies, all the people, in all the joints in all the world, World Wrestling Entertainment has their hands on a bottle that could kill this virus?
Yep.
How?
According to them, they have.
How?
It isn't true.
I don't give two shits. Why are they not selling this?
Yeah, but it's not true.
I don't care. I want this. The people need this.
It's not true.
Why aren't the hospitals getting this? Oh, freaking, oh my. Yeah, you know what, Hogan's right. This is God's work.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus built my hot rod. That's an actual song, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to go and I just want to cry. I want to go maybe choke a killer whale with my bare hands.
Do that.
Maybe I want to go club a seal.
Mm-hmm. That's very popular right now. Seal hunting.
Oh, by the way, Vince McMahon is getting sued by the former commissioner of the XFL for wrongful
Wonder
termination.
why.
At least that can make me happy.
So strange. So weird.
Oh man. All right,
Yeah.
you know what? I need to. Oh, real quick, did you watch? Oh my god, I got so mad because of a bottle. Anyway, Dark Side of the Ring. Did you watch it this week?
No, I did not.
Okay. This the episode was called "The Assassination of Dino Bravo."
Need to see this.
I'll go into some detail without spoiling it, even though I think the title pretty much spoiled how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
Dino Bravo was a very huge star in Montreal, in the Montreal area. Then he went to WWF towards '86 into '87. They missed a couple parts, but I'm not gonna really go too much on them on that. Like I'm not gonna beat them up on it. Dino I thought his run wasn't that bad. Once, he was focused as a singles wrestler, he had about a 3-year run.
Okay.
And then he left the company, and then he worked in the Mafia.
The Mafia?
Well, the Montreal Mafia.
Are we talking about like Italian kill people?
Yeah.
Okay.
He became like a strong hand. Like one of those guys that you don't mess with.
Right. I'll mess with you, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then something went wrong.
Okay.
And he was killed in his house.
Of course.
Fortunately, his wife and daughter, who were interviewed, and may I say, my God, his daughter is beautiful.
Okay.
Neither one of them were in the house when it happened.
Good.
The investigation, technically, this is still an open case.
Okay.
Because no one has ever been able to figure out who killed him, basically. No one has ever been able to figure it out. Which is very interesting. And actually, I'm gonna pull up real quick the phone number that they that they put up at the end of the episode. For people, if they have any information, I'm gonna turn the volume off on that. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I want to get the number right. So, but they had a lot of like his former wrestlers and friends of his. So,
anyone I would know?
Jimmy Hart was on it.
Okay, yeah.
Jacques
I know who that
Rougeau,
is.
Who was the Mountie.
Oh, yeah.
Those would have been the only ones that you would have known. In all honesty.
Okay.
Damn, I'm trying to find this phone number.
It's 800. Go and fuck yourself.
Aww.
Aww. Hey, when you're looking for that, did you see the basketball documentary?
Oh, The Last Dance. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I lived through that.
Right. I couldn't give two shits. I found it extremely boring. But Are they going to talk about Space Jam in that movie or that documentary?
I think we're too early into that,
Okay.
so I don't know if they're going to or not.
How many episodes have you seen? 3?
Two.
Okay.
This week
There's
we're
3.
doing parts 3 and 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 10-part
Documentary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen two of the episodes. I was so bored.
I think. Well, this week they're going to focus on in one of the documentary or one of the episodes. They're going to focus on Dennis Rodman.
Mm.
So
I like him. I always liked him.
I think.
I like people that are kind of a piece of shit.
I think
They remind me of me.
I think it's going to be very interesting to watch.
Mm.
So, next week's episode of Dark Side of the Ring, this is going to be one that I recommend everyone check out. I can't find the number, but there was a if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, go towards the end. They do put up a number if you have any information on maybe any clues to help figure out who killed Dino Bravo. But next week is the episode called David Schultz and the Slap Heard Around the World.
Yeah, I really, really want to see this episode.
And because they showed a commercial for the episode during it, George Stephanopoulos is on it.
Ooh,
oh
he
my
is?
God.
Really?
Yep.
That actually surprises me.
I've seen the video of Schultz slapping him. I have seen that clip.
Yeah. Me too.
David Schultz is such an interesting person because of what he ends up becoming after, he leaves professional wrestling. I think we've talked about this, actually. Because he came out with a book a few years ago. Yeah, we talked about this.
Right.
He ends up becoming a bounty hunter.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Would you want to be chased by him? I wouldn't.
No. I would be chased by a dog's wife.
Oh, Fro.
Now you get why. It took you a little while.
Yeah, I'd rather be chased by Carol Baskin.
Carol Baskin.
All right. So anyway, let's get into our feature this week.
The list
with a very good idea last week. It is our list, our respective lists of the top 5, our 5 favorite heels of all time. Because we've had some very good heels throughout the history of wrestling, and we've had some that really weren't that good. But we each have 5 of our own that we think are the top of the top, the best of the best. They cannot be beat. Now before we get into it, I want to ask you, Fro, did you have any honorable mentions? Because I had a few.
I had some, but I think we should do that after the list.
Okay, we'll do that.
In case of one of my honorable mentions being one of your number 2 or 1 or whoever.
We'll have to see. Well, Fro, since this was your idea, I will let you start with your number 5.
My number 5 is Chris Jericho.
Ooh, good choice.
I mean, I had to have him on the list. He's one of my favorite heels of all time. I think when he worked against both The Rock, Stone Cold, and things like that, I mean, his 2008 run was also amazing.
That was amazing.
Right. and the light jacket and all the things like that. I mean, in AEW, he is also a fantastic heel. But I just think that he's one of those people that when I have seen him as babyface, I could not care less when Chris Jericho was babyface. But when he was heel and putting people on the list and things like that, I loved him. It was so interesting. So yeah, my number 5, Chris Jericho.
Man, I feel bad. I honestly forgot him on my. I didn't have him on my list. But
Wow.
that's okay. He would have been an honorable mention for me.
Cool.
My number 5. As a human being, I think he's a piece of shit. But as a wrestler, very influential. That is superstar Billy Graham. Such an influential heel. He was really one of those that you love to hate. Had the body, had the muscles, could cut a promo like no one really could. If it wasn't for him, there wouldn't have been a Hulk Hogan, there wouldn't have been a Jesse Ventura, there wouldn't have been a Scott Steiner. He's very, very good. So I have him as my number 5. I think he's a tremendous heel. Really one of the best.
Oh, definitely. My number 4 is Ric Flair. I think he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time as well. I could probably have him higher than number 4. But this is a very biased list. We'll find that out a little later. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ric Flair is higher on your list than number 4. I mean, his rivalry with Randy Savage that led into WrestleMania was amazing.
So good.
And I mean, the respect the fans had for him is just like amazing. And
the respect that Vince
I think,
had.
yeah.
That's the
and I actually like him. I liked him as the heel manager of his daughter as well. I know that people don't agree with that a lot of times, but I just think that he is the born heel. So, Ric Flair.
All right. You mentioned a key word a moment ago with Ric Flair, and that was manager. And I think when people do lists of greatest heels, managers don't get their due on this list. But there is one for me that I think is the best heel manager, and I think is also the best manager of all time, and that is Bobby the Brain Heenan. I mean, the stuff he would do to antagonize people was incredible. I mean, we talked about earlier, compare, Zelina being the female version of Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan was such an amazing manager that he would do things, not only to get what, in matches, but outside of matches. And then the stuff he did on Prime Time with Gorilla Monsoon was so good. I mean, I don't know why, people like him and Jimmy Hart don't get mentioned among the best heels of all time. Maybe because they're thinking, it has to be a wrestler. It doesn't necessarily have to be a wrestler. Bobby Heenan is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, he's definitely on my honorable mentions. He's amazing.
All right, number 3.
Number 3 is Roddy Piper.
Another good one.
I mean, I could not make my list without him. I mean, it's like Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan gets a lot of credit for the success of WWE. Piper is being neglected, and I feel that's very sad because, Batman needs the Joker, Superman needs Lex Luthor, Luke Skywalker needs Darth Vader, and Piper was that. Piper was that heel that made WWE, I think. So, yeah. He's definitely my number 3.
Well, I mean, there's a line that he once said in a DVD. Who did people buy tickets to see at WrestleMania? Did they pay to see Hulk Hogan and Mr. T, or did they pay to see Roddy Piper get his ass kicked?
Right.
Plus, he had those Piper's Pits, and, some of the stuff he did was legendary. All right, going to stick with 80s here for my number 3. It's 80s going into the 90s, but this guy, I think, maybe one of the best created heels of all time. And that is the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Yeah,
think about that. You buy people off, or you have people do stuff for you. Like, if you watch some of those vignettes, like, I think, like, the first one, he gets a paper cut, and he tells Virgil to take him to the hospital, and it's like, oh, no, we don't do that kind of thing. And he's like, look, I'm Ted DiBiase. I can do whatever I want. If I need a Band-Aid, I need a freaking Band-Aid. You could go give me a Band-Aid. And then he managed to buy out like a swimming pool so kids and their parents couldn't swim at it. And he took like the honeymoon suite away from a couple that got married. I think the most famous one is the one with the kid dribbling the basketball. How much of an asshole can you be right there? And then he tries to buy the title. He tries to buy the world title. How great is that? And he just buys people off. And I loved, because I heard Ted DiBiase tell the story to Colt Cabana, which is why I love this character even more. Vince said to Ted DiBiase, Ted, you basically have a blank check. You can buy whatever you want. I'll, refurbish you. I'll pay it back. So it's like, boom, we got a game going.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. He is in my honorable mentions for sure.
So far, what I've noticed here, and this is a good thing actually, we have different lists here. Like, and if we have the same people, they might be in different positions, which is actually pretty good. All right, your number 2.
Yeah, and here is, I'm going to preface this with, I have a recency bias. I'm going to call it that because my number 2 is CM Punk. I had to have him on the list. He is one of the best heels of all time, if you ask me. He's the best in the world. When he was drafted to SmackDown in 2008-9, and won the Money in the Bank twice, and he had
Straight Edge Society.
Straight Edge Society, had a Nexus. I mean, I was, and when he attacked The Rock on the Raw 1000 episode was amazing. I mean, and when he lost to the Undertaker at WrestleMania 29, one of my favorite underrated WrestleMania matches of all time, by the
I
way.
was there for that.
Yep. I just like he everything he does, he gets a focus on him, and that's what a heel does. It's like you love him or hate him, and loved I loved to hate him. Like he got the right kind of heel, and that's why I have so much respect for him. And yeah, that's why he's my number two.
He was good wherever he went. It
Yeah.
didn't matter. Like, if you go back and you watch some of his promos in Ring of Honor and IWA Mid South, to name a few,
Mm-hmm.
my God, he is such a prick. But he's so
Yeah.
damn good at it.
That's why it's my number two. I can understand that people will say like, oh, that's recency bias. Yes, it is. I agree.
But he's probably the best heel in the business of the last probably 15 to 20 years,
Oh, definitely.
if not one of them.
I will be very surprised if we don't have the same number one, by the way. But we'll get that.
All right. My number two, which might be your number one, I'm not really sure because we don't go through these lists together.
No.
We just surprise each other when we do. Vince McMahon.
Oh, gosh, that is my number one. Of course
Well,
it
let's
is.
talk about him.
Yeah.
Basically, the heel character comes
Yeah.
from one of the 5 most infamous moments in the history of wrestling, the Montreal Screwjob.
I mean, the whole man is a heel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his personality is a heel. I
Mhm.
hate the fucking guy, and I don't even know him.
He is the $1 million man to the next level
Right.
without buying people out.
And I mean, the Stone Cold rivalry. It was
So
so freaking good.
So good.
One of the amazing matches, and I remember his match against the Undertaker in the first Blood match. One of my favorite Undertaker matches of all time.
And what I loved about the Vince heel character is when he got his way, he
Mhm.
shoved it down your throat so much you'd be gagging. But when he got his comeuppance, it was as if the world had found a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
Everyone was in joy. Everyone was happy. You know? And it was so good. The character is so good. And let's say this for the record. Vince did not invent the character.
No.
Eric Bischoff should get
Eric Bischoff
credit
did that.
for creating the character. Vince perfected the character.
So I'm going to guess your number one.
Go right ahead.
Since is it Ric Flair?
It is Ric Flair. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why.
Mm.
The only reason Ric Flair is number one to me is because he could piss off everybody. It didn't matter how he did it. Like I'm watching some old footage from like the 80s, and I watched a clip the other day of him giving Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express like a training bra from a teenage girl.
Right.
It's like, oh God, But like the stuff that he would do, like group attacks, and like another good Flair heel moment is when they kick Sting out of the Four Horsemen.
Mm.
And it's done so well.
Mm.
And it's like, this guy will do anything to win. It doesn't matter how. He'll use his friends to do it. He will win at all costs.
Mm.
Plus,
I agree.
in the end, if he loses something, he manages to find a way to get it back.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. It's a very good pick.
Yeah. Because like when you said he was at 4, I was like, okay, well I'm not gonna reveal my hand and say he was my number 1 because I think the segment would have been ruined right there. So
Right. I mean, again, I think it's recency bias for me to put him on 4. He should like I said, he should probably be higher. But for me, it's like, who do I have the emotions
yeah.
around? And Ric Flair, like I said, is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Honorable mentions. I know we both have some. So,
Mm-hmm.
bro, why don't we get with you? Who are some of your honorable mentions?
I mean, Stone Cold is on my honorable mentions. Macho Man is on my honorable mentions. Let's see who else was on my honorable mentions. Andre the Giant is on my honorable mentions. Bret Hart, Bobby, and the Undertaker, The Rock, Triple H, Million Dollar Man, like you said, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, Paul Heyman. I almost had Paul Heyman as my number 5. I think he's one of the best heels. Jerry the King Lawler, Edge was on my short list. Mr. Perfect.
Short list.
Yeah, Mr. Perfect.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Kane, of course. The Honky Tonk Man. JBL. And Trish Stratus.
Trish Stratus. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Some of my honorable mentions. Jericho, you mentioned. I honestly forgot about Jericho. I felt so bad when you said. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
CM Punk is another one. Harley Race, I think, is a very underrated heel. When your moniker is the greatest wrestler on God's green earth, you have to be high on the list.
Right.
Gorgeous George. I think the first true heel recognized nationally on television. He's an honorable mention on my list. Read his biography, folks. It's a fantastic read. One guy who wasn't going to make my list, but if he keeps going at the rate that he is, he probably will be in about 10 years, is MJF.
Oh, so good.
Such a tremendous heel. Who else did I have, or was I thinking of? There's so many I could have gone with. Dick Murdoch is another honorable mention. Terry Funk. Oh my God. Terry Funk is a heel. Raven, Paul Heyman, like you said, Jerry Lawler, Mr. Perfect's another one. That's actually a pretty good one. Rick Rude. Rick Rude was a very good heel. Oh my gosh, you hated him so much. Roddy Piper. Jim Cornette. Jim Cornette is another one. He's very good as a heel. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of one more that I could put on this list as an honorable mention. You know what? You mentioned Trish Stratus earlier. I'm gonna go with the females. I'm gonna go Fabulous Moolah. She was a nasty heel wrestler. Nasty heel.
I almost had the Bella twins.
No, they're just heels in real life.
Right, but I was like, no, I just don't like them.
We make fun of them every week, so.
Right. We should call this anti-Bella. The anti-Bellas. That should be our wrestling name.
Maybe maybe WWE can get the bottle that they use for the COVID on the bellas.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I know I'm terrible. Well, I tell you what, Fro, and I've been thinking about this
Mm.
since you came up with the idea to do the top 5 heels. I think it is only natural if we did next week to do the top 5 faces of all time.
Oh, sure.
I think that is the only fair thing to do because, if you're going to do heels, we got to do faces at one point. So
I agree.
Oh, I just thought of one more heel that could have been on this list. Vader.
Oh, Vader.
Oh
Very
my
good.
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very good.
yeah. Before we wrap up and before we get into the plugs, I've had this idea that and I want to try this. I want to see how many people are going to do this.
Okay.
You don't have to do this, Fro, because, well, you're the co-host of the show. Since we're in a time where there's nothing really going on with wrestling, and not a lot of interviews are really being done. And I thought about this all week. I was like, do I want to go with this or do I not want to go with this? So I'm going through with this. I'm going to pull the trigger. Until we get wrestling back, and I mean in arenas with people there. I know it might be a while, but we're going to do this anyway. I want to interview you. No, not you, Fro. You.
I get that.
The people. I want to interview the fans. So, if you are a fan listening to this, or if you're a wrestler who is a fan, I want to interview you. I want to talk to you. I want to be like, hey, how's the world been treating you since this? And go through a lot of stuff. I want to interview you. So here's what I'm going to do. In our Facebook group, That Wrestling Show Fan Group, I'm going to leave a little area where if you want to be interviewed on this show, just say, I want to be interviewed. I'll contact you. We'll set up a day to record, and we'll interview. I'll do an interview with you. And we could talk about wrestling and how it's been a part of your life. We could go anywhere. Because I want to, because as much as the wrestlers do get a lot of credit, and they really do, fans are the unsung heroes of wrestling.
I agree.
So I think we should give appreciation to the fans of wrestling. So if you want to be interviewed, I will make a thing on our Facebook group. We'll set it up, and we'll do interviews, and we'll start putting them on in the beginning of the show. Maybe as early as next week. Who knows? Could be a little later. But we're going to do this. I want to, because as Fro knows, because I used to do a show called In My Life. One thing that I've always been entertained about is the life of other people, what they've been through, what they've gone through. And I think that story can be told. Everybody's point of view. So, if you are a Facebook member, go to the Facebook group now. Say, I want to be interviewed, or I would like to be interviewed. Can you do this? We'll do it. Or you can email me, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. We'll set up an interview. I'll leave it on Twitter. I'll put it on Instagram. Because I want to know the fans. Because I think the wrestling community is the biggest community in the world. And, we don't get to know everybody. I think everyone has a very unique story. I think everyone has a fascinating background into their life and how they became a fan. Let's make the world, let's make the community smaller as far as what we like, but bigger in appreciation.
Are you doing anything special this weekend, by the way?
Well, I was planning on recording a few South Park episodes, but what you got?
I was thinking, for all listeners, that we should do a little like pre-taste of what the Founders Club could be like.
Good idea.
Yes. So I think we should find a pay-per-view or something to do a watch-along with all the listeners, and they can then decide if they want to be a member of the Patreon.
Okay.
Can I decide what pay-per-view
I was going to say that. I was going to let you decide.
Whew! Gosh, good. Okay. I will think of something. Right. You can do the promotional thing, and I will find something
I'll do that.
right away.
So let's get into the plugs. If you guys have any questions or comments, send an email, wrestlingman@thatwrestlingshow.com. Follow the show on Twitter @WrestlingShow11. Join our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/thatwrestlingshow. We just hit this week the 100 followers mark. Thank you very much. Hopefully we will continue to do that more and more, get more followers in the near future. Like I mentioned, join our Facebook group. It is That Wrestling Show fan group. If you have any question, or if you'd like to join us, please join. If you can't find it on Facebook in the search, I put the link in the description of each and every episode. Just copy, paste, boom, you are right there. And visit the said Patreon page that Fro mentioned. It is patreon.com/thatwrestlingshow. We have the best tiers. I really feel it is very affordable for everyone to get. And once we do this, I think you guys are going to enjoy it. I really think you will. It is patreon.com/thatwrestlingshow.
And me and Luke. Hi, Luke. Me and Bill. Me and Bill, we will watch SummerSlam 2002.
Ooh, I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. I haven't seen that in ages.
I have not seen that in a long time. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. So that will come on the normal feed. This feed, you don't have to be a patron. This is just a taste.
Only thing.
Yep. Just a taste, because if you become a patron, you can be a member of the Founders Club, and you can pick what we are going to watch on the Patreon.
Now, I did talk to our first member, and he was very nice about it. He was like, I'm not the kind of person that wants to tell you what to do, so I'm going to give him a pass.
Okay.
So we'll extend it to the next 25 people.
Yes.
So it won't be the first 25, it'll be the next 25. So it'll be like 25 plus 1. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Say, Fro, I heard a rumor this week that I was on another podcast.
I also heard that rumor. What did we talk about on that podcast? What podcast was it?
It's Another Digital Citizen.
Oh my gosh, our sister podcast?
Well, your sister. Well, actually, it's your mother, but my sister.
It's my mom, but your...
confusing.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Welcome to confusing people. Yeah, you were there.
Yes, I was. This was fun. Oh my gosh.
Tilly was there.
Yes. Oh, I miss Tilly.
Oh,
if she wasn't dating or engaged, I'd date her in a heartbeat.
Me too.
Hi, Tilly.
Hi, Tilly. So, we would date you if I was single and Bill was in UK.
Maybe I can have Tilly come over and live in America with me.
Yeah.
Bring Finn.
I think she wants to bring the other guy as well. I'm sorry to say that.
All
The
right.
guy he beat kid with.
Why don't you tell him you don't even like kids, please?
No.
So why don't you tell
I
them
don't.
about what we did on Another Digital Citizen this week?
Before we talk more about sex, yeah. Well, we had a tournament to find out what was the best Eurovision song of 2020 because there's no Eurovision this year, and I will say that I was very wrong about who the winner was. Luke was very wrong about who the winner was, and I think people will be very surprised.
I'll say this: if I had as much time as you and Luke do, I would probably join you guys every year to do Eurovision. I probably would, but I don't. But this was such a fun, rare thing to do.
Oh,
You know what? I'm probably going to share that with my friends. I'm surprised I haven't done that. I'll do that today. Put it in my
mm-hmm.
Facebook so you guys can hear what I did. I think, in all honesty, I think it was a fair judgment on
Yep.
our part. And you guys, we'll let you guys decide if you think the right country won.
Mm-hmm.
So check out Another Digital Citizen. Plus, I'll be back in a few weeks for a fun project. We can't say what it is right now.
It is going to be very fun. I am so looking forward to doing that. Yep.
Podcast you guys should check out. Check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. They take you through the world of retro wrestling, really like no other podcast has done. This week, they have a fresh perspective on Todd Pettingill.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, week 2 of the Royal Rankings of the best WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. And this one might interest you, Fro, because they review an old episode of World of Sport from the 1970s.
Mm.
So check that out, our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast. Now, if you like your podcasts done by one individual who may go on rants sometimes, like Fro and I do,
they should listen to Greetings from Allentown.
it is hosted by PW, Peter Winston. He watches one episode of professional wrestling each week in his own unique way, and he talks about everything that goes on, not only during wrestling, but also in that time and stuff that he's been doing. Like lately, he's been watching NBA basketball from 1986 with the Boston Celtics. So you might want to check that out. But I've been listening to this week's episode, Fro. This might be one of my favorite episodes I've ever heard. He watches an episode of Memphis Wrestling from June 7th, 1986. And he goes on this rant in the beginning that is so hilarious. I recommend everyone check it out. That is Greetings from Allentown. And Fro, we have a new podcast we're going to plug. It is The Road Home from Wrestling. It is hosted by, well, a friend of mine, and maybe a friend of yours, I'm not really sure, Drucifer Jones. He
I love
and
him.
some of his friends, they talk about wrestling. They talk about, coming home from a wrestling event, what they liked, what they didn't like. Plus, they do reviews and interviews. Some of the things this week that have posted up include them discussing, and I want to see if you've ever seen this movie, Major Pain.
Of course I've seen Major
That is
Pain.
such a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah.
I like it. Plus, they also did this week interviews with wrestlers from the NWF because this previous week was supposed to be the Future Stars second anniversary event. They didn't get a chance to do that, obviously, for certain reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they have an interview with, at Prophet of Ash, Jeremy. the human Swiss Army knife of pro wrestling. So check out The Road Home from Wrestling. Now, if you're looking for non-wrestling related podcasts, let's talk about the Best Pick Movie podcast, where three lovely people, Tom, John, and Jess, they watch each and every Academy Award-winning Best Picture winner in no particular order, and they decide at the end if the Academy got it right. This week, the movie that they discussed, the Best Picture winner of 1968, Oliver! !
Musical. Or not really, but...
No, it is. It's a musical.
Sir, can I please have some more? It's maybe one of the most famous things from that musical.
All right. Well, let's go through. Let's see if you agree with them. Here were the nominees, besides Oliver. Funny Girl.
Oh, ooh, already there. That's such a good movie.
The Lion in Winter.
I never seen that. Okay.
Rachel.
Oh, good.
Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, the original one.
I actually have a funny story with that, but I do want to hear if you from that 5.
A Funny Girl. I should have won. So good.
Of the 5, I'm going to pick Oliver.
Really? Okay.
Because with Romeo and Juliet, and this is where my story's going to get in, I watched that movie my freshman year in high school. And we made fun of that because, you know, some of them were calling the guys, oh, they're the men in spandex. And then there's the one scene where, if you guys have never seen it, well, get ready. We see Romeo and Juliet after they've gotten married and they get out of the bed. So you see Romeo's ass first. Gets up. And then I think someone calls for Juliet and she turns over and you see her breasts. It's just one of those movies where it's like, oh God, really? You know? But if I had to pick another movie, because I don't think that was the best movie that year. Oh man, I don't really have much of I don't have much of a pick. I guess I'll go The Producers.
Oh, Producers.
Because that came
so
out
good.
the same year, and I thought the remake was the better. But 68's a tough year for me to pick.
Yeah, but Funny Girl. Come on.
I haven't seen it yet. No.
Oh, so good.
But I will say, and I will recommend this, because I don't want to spoil the next episode. That's one you have to listen to. Because we're going to get on that next episode. Or we're going to discuss that next episode in 2 weeks. That's a very interesting one.
Okay.
So, but anyway, check out the Best Pick Movie Podcast. Also check out Unspooled with Paul and Amy, as they discuss each and every movie of AFI's list of the 100 greatest movies of all time, the 2007 edition. This week, they discuss Yankee Doodle Dandy.
I'm not a big fan of that.
I have a feeling I might not like that, but then again, I could be surprised.
It's not my kind of movie.
Yeah. Also check out
Yankee Doodle 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 da 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 da.
I've actually never been a fan of that song. And also check out Shark's Pond, a South Park podcast, where I review each and every South Park episode. And this, bro, I hate to break it to you. Hartman died in this week's episode.
Oh, that episode. That's
or at least he thinks he did. Because this week I am reviewing the death of Eric Hartman.
That is one of my favorite episodes.
And this Sunday, a brand new episode of Eliminated, a Royal Rumble podcast pops up. And this is going to be a fun one because this is a watch-along episode as Jim and I watch the 1999 Royal Rumble match.
That will be fun. You get 2 watch-along episodes on Sunday.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
And I didn't even know that.
Well, next week we are going to discuss our top 5 faces of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, we'll get into more ridiculous wrestling news. I mean, I don't know how much more ridiculous it can be. Plus, we'll discuss the final 6 of The Masked Singer, and hopefully the right person will be eliminated next week.
Mm-hmm.
So until then, everyone... Oh, and if you guys like this show, please give us a wonderful review on iTunes, Apple Music, whatever it's called. Give us, if you like it, please give it 5-star rating. Tell everyone about it. Because the more that people know about it, the more, people will probably listen to this.
And sharing is caring. Yes, so if you share this podcast with somebody, do it.
So everyone, please be safe. Stay indoors. Don't be a dingus. And come back next week for another episode of That Wrestling Show, a podcast where all pro wrestling matters. And as always...
Remember also to watch out for Sunday, Monday. It will be a bonus episode. And wrestle on.
Wrestle on.